Heading into the end of 2025, OpenAI seemed like they were on top of the world, absolutely untouchable. But then, in what felt like the blink of an eye, they were staring down the barrel of a full-blown crisis. We're going to get into the inside story of what happened, a secret code red, an unbelievable comeback, and the monster deals that literally reshaped the entire AI landscape. So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with a huge platform play that set all this in motion. Then we'll look at how Google's big move triggered that code red inside OpenAI. After that, we'll dive into their incredible counterpunch with GPT-5.2. And finally, we'll see how they move to future-proof their entire empire. All right, so to really get what happened, you've got to grasp just how big OpenAI was thinking back then. This wasn't just about making ChatGPT a little bit better. No. Their ambition was way bigger. They wanted to build a whole new front door to the internet, basically to completely change how you and I browse the web. And this quote from them says it all, right? They were talking about a rare opportunity to rethink web interaction. I mean, they launched a whole new browser called Atlas with this absolutely wild goal: to get rid of the whole point-and-click way we use the web. The big idea was to turn browsing from something you do into a conversation where the AI does all the heavy lifting for you. So how are they going to pull this off? Well, the magic sauce here is something called agentic AI. Now, this is a huge step up from your typical chatbot. It doesn't just answer your questions, it acts for you. Imagine an assistant that can go out, browse a bunch of websites, compare products, even fill out forms for you all on its own. The classic example is you could just tell your browser, hey, plan and book me a trip to Paris this weekend, and boom, it actually goes and does it. That was the dream. The whole strategy was to weave ChatGPT right into the fabric of browsing. You'd have browser memories that learned what you were doing, so it always had context. And then there was the agent mode, the real powerhouse that would go and execute your commands. Make no mistake, this wasn't just another browser trying to compete. This was a direct shot at Google's kingdom, a full-on attempt to become the new center of the internet.
Okay, so OpenAI is making this huge, aggressive move. But you know what they say about poking a sleeping giant? Just as they were rolling out their big plan, Google woke up. And I mean, really woke up. After looking like they were playing catch-up for a while, Google unleashed a comeback that absolutely rocked the tech world and sent OpenAI into a panic. And look at how fast this all went down. It was incredible. We're talking a few short months, Google goes from defense to a full-court press. They nailed their big developer conference, their Gemini AI user base just explodes, and then the knockout punch. They dropped Gemini 3. And this model wasn't just pretty good. It was benchmarked as being better than GPT-5. That was the moment. On December 1st, Sam Altman hits the big red button and declares an internal code red. And don't just take my word for it. Listen to what Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce, said after he saw it. The leap is insane. It feels like the world just changed. Again. Wow. So yeah, this was not some incremental update. This was a fundamental shift that left everyone speechless. And for the very first time, it looked like OpenAI might actually lose its top spot.
So you might be asking, why was this such a big deal for OpenAI? Well, it all comes down to Google's built-in superpowers. They have this thing called full-stack integration. What does that mean? It means they own everything. They make their own custom AI chips, so they don't have to wait in line for NVIDIA. They have their own massive data centers. And most importantly, they own the distribution: Search, Android, Chrome. They can push a new feature to literally billions of users with the flip of a switch. OpenAI, they were burning through money and had to rely on partners for pretty much everything. It was a classic David versus Goliath situation, and Goliath just woke up with a new slingshot.
So inside OpenAI, the response was immediate and drastic. Code red meant exactly what it sounds like: drop everything. All those cool, ambitious projects they had in the works to grow the business, things like advertising, new shopping agents, a personal assistant they were calling Pulse, all of it got put on ice. The entire company, every single engineer, had just one job now: fix the core product, make ChatGPT better. And this is where the story gets really wild, because what happened next? Nobody saw it coming. Just 2 weeks, that's 14 days, after hitting the panic button, OpenAI came roaring back with a technical haymaker. They weren't just defending, they were fighting to take their crown back. Their whole comeback hinged on one incredible number. There's this benchmark test called GDPval. You can think of it as a final exam for AI, testing how well it can do actual, complex, professional work. Well, their new model, GPT-5.2, scored a 70.9%. Now, that might not sound like much until you hear this. The model it replaced, GPT-5, scored just 38.8%. They didn't just improve it, they nearly doubled its capability on these incredibly hard tasks. It's just a mind-boggling leap forward. And remember, they did it in about 2 weeks. Unbelievable. And it gets better. It wasn't just smarter, it was also way, way more efficient. We're talking a 390 times improvement on another important benchmark. So think about that. The model gets a whole lot more powerful, and at the same time, it becomes way cheaper for them to actually run. In a long-term war against a giant like Google, that is an absolute game changer. And these improvements weren't random, they were laser-focused. Its vision got twice as good, so it could read charts or understand a software screen way better. It got a much bigger memory, a huge context window, so it could understand massive documents. And they rebuilt its brain, basically, to handle the kind of complex, step-by-step thinking that their big business customers really needed. OpenAI had met the challenge head-on, and they came back with a vengeance. But releasing a new model, even a great one, wasn't enough. The immediate fire was out, but now they had to think about the long game. So in the last few weeks of the year, OpenAI made 2 gigantic strategic moves to basically fortify their kingdom and make sure they could win the AI war for years to come.
First up, they moved to conquer the creative world. And they did it by teaming up with what is, let's be honest, probably the most powerful content creation machine on the planet.
That's right, they signed a massive deal with Disney. And we're not just talking about a $1 billion check, though that's huge. This was about weaving themselves into the very fabric of entertainment. They got the rights to use over 200 iconic characters, think Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, in their AI video generator Sora. Suddenly, OpenAI wasn't just a tech company, it was becoming a part of our culture.
Okay, so that's the creative front lockdown. The second move was all about infrastructure. It was designed to fix one of OpenAI's biggest weaknesses, the fact that they didn't control the raw horsepower, the sheer computing power you need to build these monster AI models.
And then the headlines hit. OpenAI was in talks with Amazon. For how much? A potential investment of over $10 billion. I mean, that's not just money to keep the lights on. That's a war chest, enough to go toe-to-toe with Google.
And that $10 billion was just the start. It was the anchor for a whole new funding round that would lead to an even crazier number, a possible valuation for OpenAI of $500 billion. That would make it one of the most valuable private companies in the world. Just wow.
But look, as big as those numbers are, this deal was about way more than just the cash. It was strategic genius. It meant they'd get access to Amazon's own custom AI chips, so they weren't totally reliant on NVIDIA anymore. It meant they locked in all the cloud computing power they could ever need. And maybe most importantly, it gave them a massive, powerful new friend in their ongoing battle with Google. So that leaves us with the big question, right? When you look back at that absolutely frantic end to 2025, the code red, that unbelievable technical comeback, and these monster deals, what are you really seeing? Is this a company flexing its muscles, proving its dominance? Or was it all a brilliant, high-stakes reaction to a moment when they were genuinely on the ropes, about to lose it all? The answer to that question, well, that's probably going to tell us who wins the next round of the AI wars.
Thanks for watching Agentic Wave. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and share this video.